I made bird watching videos for YouTube for 2 years with this rig. Boy, was that stupid. I'm gonna tell you all of my birding video secrets right now. And the top tip is only 15 seconds away. I'm not worried about these secrets getting out because nobody watches birding videos in summer. Birders are out birding. So why are you watching? Yeah, never mind, just keep these secrets to yourself. My top secret, I shoot a lot of crap. For every bird I shoot like this, there are 10 shots that look like this. So shoot a lot. Just keep shooting. Turn it on and keep shooting and shoot longer than you think you need to. Of course, if your whole goal is to shoot crappy video, I can tell you how to do it because I'm a champion at screwing up video. Right now, let's just answer the #1 question people always ask after I post a video. What gear am I using? I started out with a Sony Handycam, but that only had an LED panel, and that LED panel is useless in a bright sunlight. You can't shoot what you can't see. Plus, to use the LED screen, you have to hold it out from your body a little bit, and that gives you a little more handshake. Plus, it doesn't have a jack for an external microphone, only an internal one. You can't put a windscreen on it, and the sound was awful. Next, I tried a Fujifilm FinePix Super Zoom point and shoot. Pretty good reach, only low resolution, doesn't have an external microphone jack, and when you zoom up, it makes a whirring noise. After I listened for that for 2 years, you still watching? You know, most channels tell you the smart stuff they did. Who tells you the stupid stuff? We will get to the smart stuff in just a few more breaths, but in real life, you often can't get to smart until you've been through stupid. Follow me to more stupid. So I did this, a Canon 80D single lens reflex camera. This digital camera takes pretty good videos, except that if you need to get any reach out of it, this 50mm lens has to come off. This 100 to 400mm lens does give you about as much reach as a good pair of binoculars. And it does have an audio jack, so you can plug in a microphone. But in movie mode, the camera pulls the mirror out of the way. So you can't use the viewfinder. You have to go back to using the view screen, which is the same problem you had before in bright sunlight. You can't see it. What you can do is flip this around so that it's facing out. And then I bought this. It's a loop. You face the view screen out, mount this in the camera so you're now looking through this into the screen, and it acts like a viewfinder. Now your rig looks like this. Big lens, big camera, a crane with a loop on it. But wait, where does the microphone go? There's a mount on top of the loop. But now your rig looks like this. It's this big, heavy as a brick. You can't really run and gun with something like this. Now, you just about most of the time need a tripod. So you've got your tripod, kind of works on the level. You can't really shoot up with it. You're certainly going to have a hard time shooting a flying bird from a tripod. So I bought a monopod. This beast kind of works. You can certainly point it up and get a better chance of seeing warblers in the treetops. You still, honestly, you can't shoot anything flying over. And don't even think about taking a monopod or a tripod onto a boat, because however that boat is bouncing, so is this. Ultimately, this camera is pretty good for what it is, or was, about 15 years ago when they made it, but it doesn't shoot in 4K. This had to go. I'm back in northern Maine on a remote lake in a semi-wilderness area. 5 canoes just paddled by a little while ago, but other than that, I think I'm the only human within 7 miles. Best bird of a rather quiet morning, a family of olive-sided flycatchers. Okay, this is the gear you were wondering about. First camera, a Canon Vixia HFG50. It's got a 20x zoom, which is just a little bit better than my 8.5 power binoculars. And that means I can get close to a bird without getting close to a bird. These loons are just about 75 yards off shoreline, and they are not paying any attention to me at all. Microphone is a Rode mount-on camera shotgun microphone. Mount this onto this Canon, shoot in 4K, and it's a miracle worker. You can really run and gun with this camera. It's got great internal stabilization. It shoots well from a boat. This is the camera I should have bought years ago. And even though this is close to a perfect camera, you can still screw up with it, or any camera. And I'll teach you how to do that in just a moment. But first, there are 3 things I don't like about this camera. First is it takes 7 seconds to boot up. When you turn it on and wait 7 seconds, the bird you're after just may be gone. Second thing is, it shoots in 4K, but only at 30 frames per second. Oftentimes, the best way to show off a bird is to slow it down a little bit so you can see what's going on. If you do that with this camera, the image is a little choppy. Post-processing might help, but I wish it could shoot at 60 frames per second 4K. And Canon, if you ever make one like that, set one aside, because I'm buying it right away. And the third thing is, this is where you plug in the external microphone. This little latch that holds this cover on when the microphone is not in use breaks way too easily. This is the second one I put on, and this one broke 3 days into it. Second camera. This sweet little thing is a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This thing works miracles. It's got a very wide angle, so you can take marvelous scenery shots with it. And if the scenery is just a little too far away, you can cut that in half by zooming up a bit. Second thing, and maybe the more important thing, is this is an incredible vlogging camera. Because it's got this wide angle, you can actually hold it closer to you while you're talking. You know, most people have to hold it way out here in order to do it. Not this one. You can just pull it right in and talk all you want. And it's a gimbal. It's going to look straight ahead at the horizon no matter how you twist it or turn it. It's going to give you the same view no matter what. And this gimbal will give you a smooth pan even if you rush it a little bit. The camera lens will simply catch up to your intention. And get this, because it's always going to look straight ahead at the horizon if you set it up right, you can take this camera, lay it down flat, and still get an image of the horizon. Which means you can just lay it on a picnic table and it'll focus right at you. This is especially cool. You can set this camera to active track and it will follow you. Set it down and it will follow you as if somebody else is operating the camera. But they're not. This camera can do 4 times slow motion at 4K resolution. It can do time lapse. It can do motion lapse where it's panning very slowly over time. Make sure you get the DJI Mini mic to go with this, because not only is it great sound, but it's got good noise suppression, and you can operate the camera off and on remotely. And when you're all done with the Pocket 3, you just close it up, stick it in this hard carrying case, and shove it in your pocket. It's that convenient. There is a Pocket 4 out now, but I'm not buying that until I have worn this one into the ground. And now, some quick tips on how to screw up video. Number 1 way by far, backlighting. Cameras set the exposure by measuring the average light in the shot and aiming for the middle. The problem is the bird is just a small part of the scene. The camera is setting the exposure for all the light that isn't the bird. And the worst lighting is backlighting. Birds tend to be up in the tree, usually against the sky. If that sky is a bright, hazy white, the camera will set the exposure for the sky. The bird is just a dark silhouette. Now, on many cameras, you can adjust the exposure so that the bird is correctly lit, but then the sky is as bright as a strobe light. It's so bad, I've just about stopped shooting anything that's up against a bright white sky. The same problem happens when you're shooting a white bird against a dark background. The camera adjusts for that dark background and the white in the bird is just blown out, too bright, details lost. Egrets, swans, gulls, pelicans, all blown out unless you manually set your exposure darker. And all that adjusting exposure on the fly while you're shooting in the run just gets harder. Here's another way to screw up, shutter speed. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how fast to shoot under any given circumstances. One thing I do know, don't let the camera decide. If you leave it on automatic, you'll automatically get bad results. The normal rule for setting the shutter speed is called the 180 rule. Basically, you take whatever you're shooting frames per second and double it. So I'm shooting at 30 frames per second. You would go to 1/60th of a second for your shutter speed. But birds aren't stationary. A little bit of hand movement, a little bit of bird movement, and some of the frames are blurry. But shoot too fast to shutter speed and the footage can look choppy, especially the wings of a flying bird, which is supposed to look like motion blur. That's what your eyes do naturally. If the bird is just sitting there, I can slow down the shutter speed. But if I'm on a bouncing boat shooting a flying bird, I will crank the shutter speed up as far as the light will let me, generally 1/1000th of a second. Right now, my default setting is usually 1/500th of a second. That's what I use on average, and it seems to work out much of the time. Point is, don't leave it up to the camera. Set it to shutter priority and pick the priority that seems to work the best under those circumstances. You know what can really screw up good video? Bad audio.
This is what often happens on this trip is we get way offshore.
So as you remember, right now, I use this DJI mini mic that transmits directly into the camera. When I first started out, I had this Sennheiser shotgun mic sitting around the house, so I would bungee this onto a tripod. Boy, was that stupid. And by the way, this windscreen is also called a dead cat. I don't know why. And when I'm shooting voiceover into the Canon camera, I use this clip-on microphone. Used to have one of those lapel mics, the little ones that are almost invisible. In the field, those wires break too easy. I don't think I got 10 uses out of it. And of course, these have their little mini dead cats too. I'm standing lakeshore, surrounded by about a 10-mile-an-hour breeze, and if these windscreens are doing the right thing, you shouldn't be able to hear much noise. You've already met this Rode microphone that mounts on camera with its own dead cat. The receiver just mounts onto the camera. The point is, if you don't control noise, especially wind noise, you get this. Don't even think about talking on a boat unless you have a microphone close to your mouth. You've got wind noise, you've got crowd noise, you've got engine noise, and probably there's a naturalist who just drones on and on.
So here this whale's going down for a dive. See those wings spread? Down goes that.
Speaking of droning on and on, I've stumbled along enough. Look, if you have any advice for me, any suggestions, things that work for you, put them in the comments, because I could use all the help I can get. And by the way, if you see any tips, tools, and topic ideas on this channel that you'd like to steal them. We're all in this together. Thanks.